Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking through a couple player props I like on Prizepicks for tonight's NBA slate on Monday, April the 17th. Now we have a short slate tonight. We only got 2 games, but we still got plenty of player props to choose from, guys. At the time I'm making this video on Sunday night, Prizepicks does already have a ton of props on the board from every different category. They have all the fantasy scores posted. You guys know that I really like to look at the fantasy scores. Just because I've been playing DFS for so long, very familiar kind of with the fantasy score system, with fantasy point projection. So we actually got 2 fantasy score props that we're going to talk about for today. Before we do talk through these 2 plays, though, as always, guys, if you guys enjoy these Prizepicks videos, if they do help you out, make sure you hit that like button down below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you guys are new to Prizepicks, if you have never checked them out before, you can actually sign up for Prizepicks and use my promo code NOAH. If you do look at the bottom of the screen, when you sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code, you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. So be sure to check them out, sign up, use that code NOAH. You will get your first deposit matched up to $100. But yeah, we got 2 games tonight. We got Game 2 of the Sixers and Nets series, and then we got Game 2 of the Kings and Warriors series. I got a play that I like from each game. So we'll start off with the first game of the night, the Sixers and the Nets game. And I want to talk about Spencer Dinwiddie's fantasy score. So Dinwiddie's fantasy score line sits at 34.5. I think something that's very important to, if you're someone that likes to take a lot of fantasy score props like myself, it's very important to kind of keep track of what the lines are. Like try and remember what the projections were for like game 1 of the series, and then kind of see how they fluctuate from each game. And I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, Dinwiddie's fantasy score projection in game 1 was 36.5. Obviously he did go under that line. He finished with 30.1 fantasy points. But really nothing's changed, for Dinwiddie here. He's still going to play huge minutes. He led the team in minutes played last game. Philadelphia, they did blow out Brooklyn. They won by 20. Brooklyn, they did sub out their starters last game with about 4.5 minutes left. But even with Dinwiddie getting subbed out, 4.5 minutes left into the fourth quarter, he still played 36.5 minutes. Dinwiddie was on pace to play like 41 minutes if this was a competitive game. If this game's competitive tonight, it does have a 10.5 point spread, so I guess that's the one concern, and I think that's could be one of the ways this play potentially could fail is if Brooklyn just comes out here and gets the crap beat out of them. But I think as long as this game is competitive, Dinwiddie is going to play a ton. This Brooklyn team, they don't have a ton of guards that they feel confident giving minutes to. Royce O'Neal, last game played 27 minutes. He's kind of their one bench guy that they've been really giving a lot of minutes. But like Seth Curry has barely been playing. Joe Harris doesn't play much. Cam Thomas is out of the rotation. Edmund Sumner's out of the rotation. Those guys only played in garbage time last game. So we're going to see a lot of minutes for Dinwiddie, probably 36 plus minutes if this game is competitive. The matchup against Philly is not the best. The Sixers have been a pretty tough defensive team this season. They've been a strong defensive unit. They do play at a really slow pace, but this is strictly just like a minutes play for me. And Dinwiddie this season, since he's been with the Nets, he has averaged over a fantasy point per minute. So on average, when he plays 36 minutes or more, he's usually going to average around a fantasy point per minute, and I would expect him to put up 36 fantasy points or more. So this line is almost like projecting him to average less than a fantasy point per minute, which so far with the Nets has not been the case. He's been over a fantasy point per minute player. And if you look at the games he's played with the Nets this season, you look at the games where he's played 36 minutes or more. Obviously, last game he played 36 minutes and he went under this fantasy score. But prior to last game, besides that one, Dinwiddie played 12 games with the Nets during the regular season where he saw at least 36 minutes. He was over this fantasy score line in 11 out of those 12 games. There was only one game, and it was against the Hawks. He played 41 minutes, had just 32.8 fantasy points. Every other game, though, where he's played at least 36 minutes, he's had 39 fantasy points or more. So 34.5 fantasy score. This line just feels too low for Dinwiddie. If he plays 38, 40 minutes here, which is very likely if this game's competitive, with how he can facilitate, he can score as well. He's just a guy that can do a little bit of everything when he's on the floor. He's going to be kind of the 1B option on offense behind Mikal Bridges for this Nets team. And if the Nets want to win this game, potentially even this series, obviously Dinwiddie's going to have to play well. So are a lot of their other guys, but specifically Mikal, Dinwiddie, those are the 2 guys that really do a lot of the heavy lifting on offense for this Nets team. And Dinwiddie going to play a ton of minutes here. Hopefully the Nets can keep this game competitive. If he plays close to 40 minutes, I think he's got a very good chance of going over 34.5 fantasy score. So that is the first play that I do like for today. And then the other play that I like in the Kings and Warriors game, I want to talk about Steph Curry's fantasy score. And like I said earlier, guys, paying attention to the board, from the previous games and kind of from the previous, game one of the series, understanding the projections before. Pretty sure Steph Curry's fantasy score line for game one of this series was at 46.5. And, again, he did go under that line. He finished with 35.2 fantasy points. But if you take a look at Curry, last game and, his game log, it was a really weird game for Curry. So he had 30 points, which is, pretty normal. He had 6 rebounds, which is, pretty normal as well. But he only had 2 assists. That's usually not, like Curry. Normally Curry's going to get like 5, 6 assists. I mean, he's averaged over 6 assists per game. So his assists were down last game. He also got no steals, no blocks. That's kind of, something we don't see happen too often. Curry can usually get at least like 1 steal or 1 block. And he had 5 turnovers last game. So really weird for Curry to have 30 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and finish with just 35 fantasy points. Like, that was just a really weird game for Steph. I think he's going to bounce back here. Obviously, this is a huge game for the Warriors. I mean, they don't want to go down 0-2 to this Kings team. I know Golden State, plays really well at home, and if they go back home down 0-2, they could probably still win back-to-back games, tie the series. But this is a game that Golden State needs to get. They need to try and even the series. We know that Steph's going to play huge minutes. Last game he played 37.5 minutes. With them now down a game, maybe we see Steph play closer to 40 minutes here. And obviously, Steph is going to be very productive when he's on the floor. I mean, so far this season with the Warriors, he's averaged 1.35 fantasy points per minute. Typically, in the playoffs, he's going to play close to 40 minutes a night. And if you look at his game log this season where he's played at least 36 minutes, so let's just assume we get 36-plus minutes from Steph tonight, he's gone over this 44.5 fantasy score in 17 out of his last 25 games where he's played at least 36 minutes. So typically when he gets full minutes, he's got a very good chance of going over 44.5 fantasy score. And I think this matchup's really good for Steph. I know he didn't have the greatest game overall last game. I mean, scoring-wise, he had a pretty good scoring game. Had 30 points, just 5 turnovers, only 2 assists, no steals, no blocks. That was just kind of like a really weird game from him. But the scoring was there. The matchup, I think, against the Kings is pretty good. The Kings' defense has not been that great this season. Both these teams love to push the pace, and we saw this game be really, really high scoring when these two teams just played. In game one, it was like the final score was 126 to 123. There was almost 150 or 250 total points scored in this game. So this is going to be a very high-scoring game. Should be a great game environment. Two teams that like to play fast. And Steph's going to play huge minutes here. He should average well over fantasy point per minute. And again, last game, you look at his game log, just a really weird game. 30 points, 6 rebounds, just 2 assists, no steals, no blocks, had 5 turnovers. I would expect, more efficient game from Steph here. Probably, some more assists. Probably won't have 5 turnovers again. That definitely feels like a high for him. Normally, he's only going to average like 2 or 3 turnovers per game, and usually he can get you 1 steal or 1 block. And we've seen Steph have games where he gets multiple steals, multiple blocks, and those obviously can add up on Prizepicks because with Prizepicks fantasy score system, you do get 3 points for every block and steal. So 44.5 fantasy score line for Steph. I think this is too low. I liked it last slate at 46.5. Nothing's changed today. At 44.5, I definitely think this is a good line to take. So this is what I'm going to be playing, guys. It's kind of an early 2-pick entry for this Monday slate. These are 2 picks I like taking a first look at the board on Sunday night when I'm recording this video. But again, as always, guys, if you do enjoy these Prizepicks videos and you guys want more Prizepicks plays from me, I do provide those over on Patreon. For days like today where we only have a few NBA games, I am giving out MLB plays over on Patreon as well. So if you guys are into MLB, I do provide MLB on the days where we don't have a ton of NBA. So for a day like today with just 2 NBA games, I'll definitely have some MLB plays posted on Patreon. I'll combine those with my NBA plays. If you guys want to check out all the Prizepicks plays I do give out on Patreon, you can do so, linked down below in the description. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Appreciate you watching. As always, make sure you hit that like button down below before you guys do get out of here. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And go check out Prizepicks as well. If you guys have not signed up for Prizepicks yet, you can sign up and use my promo code NOLA. When you do sign up, you'll get your first deposit matched up to $100. But that's all that I got for tonight, guys. Wish you the best of luck on this slate. Hope you guys all make some money tonight, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.